Hello everybody, welcome to another Photoshop CS6 tutorial where we're going to learn about how to use the dodge and burn tools. What these tools are used for is to lighten or darken specific areas of the image, and you use a brush tool to pretty much get exactly what you want to modify. Now, to lighten up the shadow areas of an image, you would want to use the dodge tool, and oppositely, if you wanted to darken areas of an image, you want to use the burn tool. Now, those tools are over here in the tools panel, and they're over here in this section where there's either a like lollipop looking signal or a icon or a hand, and then there's also the sponge tool within it. And I'll talk about the sponge tool in a later tutorial and go more in depth about that, but this time I'm just going to stick with the burn and dodge tool. So let me show you what the burn tool actually does, and I'll just duplicate my layer. That way I can do a comparison. This is going to darken the image. So I'll just pick out something that's really bright, such as this shirt here, and I'll just keep on using this burn tool in here to make it a little darker. And now you can see it looks like it's actually burning the shirt. So that's what the burn tool does. So if you got something that's like a highlight that's like blasting out your pictures, maybe like a window that's really bright and you can't even tell what the hell it is, then you would want to use this tool. I'm going to go back in my history to the where I duplicated the layer so that none of the burn tools on there. Now let's check out the dodge tool. Now this is going to lighten stuff up. So if I come down here to where it's all dark and stuff on the bottom of the shirt and I start applying this, you can see that it's lightening up the bottom of the shirt. And you just click and hold, and then you just drag around it. Let's see here. Alright, so that's pretty much been lightened up, and we can compare it by looking at by turning off the visibility of the background copy and comparing it to the untouched background. And now you can see how much different it has been lightened up. So that's how you use the dodge tool. Now there are a couple options up here in the menu bar up here that you can use to customize your tools. We've got the range here, and you can affect the shadows, the midtones, or the highlights, and I'm sure you guys know what those are, so I'm not going to go over those too much. And then we've got exposure next to it. Now exposure is pretty much the intensity. So if I put the exposure all the way up to 100%, there we go, and I start trying to lighten stuff up, you can see immediately that it's lighting things up. And I'll just go back and forth, obviously. There we go. Now I'm going to step back in the history real quick. And now I'm just going to put it down to its lowest amount, 1%, and start trying to use it. And you can tell there's not as much of a change, so it's a little lighter on there. And then you can barely tell any difference. I can kind of see it probably because it's on my own screen, but hopefully you guys might not be able to see it. Not hopefully, I'm sorry I said that. You guys might not be able to see it on your screen because it's such a minuscule value. So it's good to keep it around 50, and if you really need to lighten something up a lot, put it at 100%. If you don't need to, then put it at 1%. This checkbox here called Protect Tones is you can turn it on or off, obviously, and you just check it to minimize the clipping and reduce hue shifting. And I'll just turn that off real quick. Let's put this at 100%, and then you can see how this works. You can see that the hue is definitely shifted. It's changing all this, and it's not really blending in with what you're using too much. So usually you want to have the Protect Tones on so that doesn't happen. So here's Protect Tones. And you can see that there. It protects basically the hue. The same options are on the burn tool as well. So these are pretty much the same tool, but they do opposite things. So we can choose our different brushes here. The hardness is going to show how much, like, pretty much it fades into the image. So with a hardness of 100%, you're going to be able to definitely tell the edges of your work, of your brush strokes. Now if I put this to something like 25%, it's close to 25%, it's a little harder to tell where it ends, and it kind of blends in more. So usually when you're using these, you want to use the soft brush, so keep it down pretty low, and that's my opinion. So there's the basics of the burn tool and the dodge tool. So use them if you want to lighten or darken things and you need to get like a specific thing. So they're good because you can just apply it to certain parts of the image. You can get exactly what you want with the brushes. And if these circular brushes don't work for you, you can always change to different looking brushes. Like this one's like a splattered brush, and you get the different like effects like that if you use the different brushes, obviously. So thanks for watching this tutorial. Be sure to check out some more tutorials on buckysroom.org and just look around. Have a good one, everybody. Good luck on your projects.